Ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting for this day for months now because we have so many reviews, so many testimonials, so many client success, and people start asking us, what did it take to get the results that we got for our clients, right? Like one thing is reading through some of those and they look amazing and they are, but what were the pieces? What were the ingredients? What was that step by step A through Z of what we like, how we took our clients and our business partners to be able to get them the results that they wanted to get. So without further ado, I have my business partner and friend here, Christian. He's our client success director and also runs all our operations. Because of him, over the last 9 years, we've been able to refine client success to a level that no one has seen before. Literally no one. And I'm not just saying that to say that. I'm saying that because what you're going to see here today, this is the exact journey we take our clients from A through Z of getting them the results that they're looking to get to. So without further ado, Christian, thank you very much for coming up here and, showcasing our internal client success process to the viewers watching here.
Dude, this is super exciting. I think for a long time, we kind of held off because it's a lot of stuff. And I think this video is going to come out pretty long. It's going to be pretty detailed. So stick with us. But mind you that we're going to walk you through every single piece of the details. We're going all out. We're going to open up our entire company. But just remember that at the end of the day, we do have a large team that is here to support you. So even though there's a lot of stuff going on, keep that in mind too.
Over 50 people, right? There's over 50 full-time people, and those are 50 employees. On top of that, we have contractors, vendors, a lot of things. So don't let what we're going to showcase to you here, don't feel overwhelmed. But the reason why we're showcasing this to you is because this is what it takes to build a very successful business. And the best part is that, we're not in the business of just giving you logins, right? Like most other course creators, gurus, coaches, and all that. No, we are business owners and we do a lot of the pieces done for you, right? It's not a passive thing. Right? As you'll see today, there's some things that are required on your end, but we're showing you this from everything of what our team is doing for you. Okay. So don't get confused or don't get overwhelmed, but just know that, this is just kind of like what it takes. And this is over, again, 9 years of our experience condensed in the next hour or maybe 2 hours or so of what we're going to take you through. So, get ready to see something that you've probably never, ever seen before.
I think the biggest thing too is like anytime that us three have ever invested into a program, a course, or whatever it may be, there's always that level of unknown. Like when you're on the outside looking in, you're not sure what it's going to be like when you actually invest. Is someone actually going to onboard me? And how many people have been on our calls and have said, I didn't even get an onboarding call. I didn't even get logins. It took them 2 weeks to get back to me. And like that type of treatment is insane, especially when someone is investing into themselves, into building a business for a better future. So for us, we've taken not only our personal experiences, but also the client's experiences of having been through that and making sure that we take care of every single person that comes our way. Even if the people that don't work with us, we still make sure that you get value out of our calls, because at the end of the day, that's what Launch My Agency was established for.
Exactly,
is to help people start and launch digital marketing agencies and build a brighter future.
And what you just said, right, I think is very, very key, because most people, even people probably watching this is probably not your first rodeo. And what Christian said, some people drop $10,000, $20,000 and they don't even get an onboarding call, which is insane. And unfortunately, when we speak to them, when our team or myself, my brother Mo, when we speak to these people, they're like, am I going to get burned again? Is this going to be one of those same experiences that I've had in the past? And to them, I say, well, no. But also what's kind of important to understand is not bringing our past into the new relationship, right? It's kind of like we all have bad relationships in our life. It's not fair to the other person to kind of bring that baggage there. So, instead of us just saying that, today we're like, let's just show you guys. So Christian, without further ado, if you can get right into it.
So the whole reason we're going over our process today is to be able to show you the whole reason why we built Launch My Agency. Not only is it the service-based business, the super simplest and easiest way to be able to get yourself out of the 9 to 5, out of the dread. I mean, I remember when we first started our business, or before that, what really helped us draw the line was having to drive through traffic, having to sit in that just to get to work, and then you be able to clock in and start making money. I mean, we want to be able to give you the opportunity, just like we built out for ourselves, to build out that service-based business in the online space, which decreases your cost of upfront starting out and being able to build out a digital marketing agency, which a digital marketing agency solves the problem for literally every business in this world. How many businesses are getting started every single day?
137,000 new businesses are started every day. And the best part is they need only one thing, which is marketing, right? And here's another thing. Here's another stat. Most business owners, they're all old people, right? Old people, like they don't know anything about digital marketing, which is where people like us and like potentially you, if you have a digital marketing agency, they'll line up and pay you $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month per client, and you just add it on as a retainer, right? So that's kind of like why we've built this space, why we've built this program out. It is the pound for pound number one best business model to kind of get in. And today we're going to show you everything of what it takes to go from zero to where some of our most successful clients are doing, not only monetary, but also the style of business and the lifestyle that they're able to achieve with having all the time and location freedom, and most importantly, that financial freedom as well.
Oh yeah, let's get into it. So one of the first things that we're going to show you really quick is it's going to look kind of crazy, but we're going to break it down here over time. It's going to be the breakdown of what exactly an agency blueprint looks like from start to finish. And it's very detailed here on the screen. We're talking about from like when you get started, from the different principles, right? The foundational pieces, which are the 4 pillars, which is number 1 is niche and offer, right? Your agency superpower. How are you going to set yourself apart from everybody else? Because what you don't want to be is a Me Too agency. And even if we take a step back, right, not just agencies, but businesses in general typically struggle to make money because they sound like everybody else. You just sell the product, you sell a service, but you have to be able to differentiate yourself. How can you be different so that way people go with you versus the competitors versus other options that are out there? So that's one of the first things that we step into with you is help you figure out, okay, who are we working with? We're talking about like leveraging your background. What experience do you bring? What have you done in your life that we can leverage along with our team's experience to be able to come up with what niche is ideal for you. And of course, making sure that it's profitable and it's a niche that you can get into in that sense, right? Then we're going to work through like offers. Because when you think about a niche, they all have problems, right? These businesses that you want to work with have issues, pain points that you want to figure out, okay, what is that underlying, not just surface level, right? We're not talking about like, okay, let's get leads, let's get clients, let's get sales. That's very surface level. Everyone says that. I can get you leads, I can get you calls, I can get you clients, but it's okay, what is the true pain that you're solving for me? It's kind of like if I go to the doctor and I say, well, my arm hurts, and they just say, I'm going to give you some pain pills, but it turns out my arm is actually broken. I need surgery to get it fixed, right? The pain medicine is going to it's only going to get me so far, if anything at all. So that's the main thing that we help you, the first step that we help you that's the first step that we help work through when you first start your agency and this online business. From there, I think what's really important is the branding elements of an agency. Sometimes, of course, like we don't want to spend too much time on the branding because it's mainly for us, but you do want to set it and again, set yourself apart in that instance too. And our team will work with you as far as, because I remember when we first started, man, it took us 4 months to come up with a name. We don't really want to have that for you. We want to get you quick, right? Because the main thing is about revenue generating activities. That's the most important thing that you'll hear from us and all the different videos, whether it's before you come on board or even after you come on board. We just sound like a broken record. We just say you have to focus on revenue generating activities. And the reason why we start with niche and offer, and we don't just pick some random niche or some random offer and just start selling services, is again, we want you to be able to get past that milestone of attracting people, right? Generating interest in your agency, in the services, and in what you're doing. So that's why the agency superpower comes first. And that's essentially what we have here on the blueprint. Then we step into the second pillar, which is marketing. That's the biggest thing as a business owner, not just a digital marketing agency, is creating demand, getting people interested in what you have to offer, and then of course, converting them into paying clients. Now here, as you can see, there's a lot of different pieces, right? It starts off with like actually, of course, launching the marketing. A lot of people, they get stuck in like, oh, I should be doing the fulfillment first. I should be setting up my SOPs. But if you don't have any clients, like there's really no need for the SOPs. But mind you, we have the SOPs already done for you. So that's already taken care of. That way you can, again, focus on the revenue generating activities. So as you can see here, we typically we have a variety of different types of strategy that you can utilize in the marketing. The big one is going to be Facebook, and the second one is going to be LinkedIn, as you can see here.
Paid and organic, right?
Exactly.
Like the thing is, you don't want to be reliant on just one platform or just one thing, because then you technically don't have a business and you're just in the mercy of someone like Mark Zuckerberg, right? Because like one small policy change can get your ad account disabled, and it's part of the game, right? It's just part of business. But what kind of business is it if you're just reliant on that? And now, even if you're making $100K a month, if you're only reliant on paid ads, all you're done, right? And then also a lot of clients, when they come on board, they're like, hey, I'm a little strapped for cash. Can I get clients without having to invest money? And the answer is absolutely 100%, right? Which is LinkedIn. And maybe you can talk a little bit more, about the LinkedIn part.
Yeah, I think the beauty about Facebook ads, it's really a hyper targeted platform. It's possible that Facebook might even know you better than your own family does. Interests, behaviors, I mean, things that you're doing in life right now that maybe you haven't told anybody. Facebook will know those things. And I think that's a beautiful thing about the platform when it comes to advertising, because you don't, like, think about a billboard, right? If you put up a billboard that's targeted towards, like, for example, makeup. I know we talked about this the other day. So if you put up a billboard with makeup, your target audience is most likely going to be like 50%, maybe even less of the population. And that means like everybody that's driving by, I mean, you're wasting half of your budget on those people, and you want to be very targeted, which is why Facebook is great, because then you can target not only, again, we're looking at who's your most ideal person to purchase your product, right? Which is going to probably be women. Maybe there's a certain age bracket that you're going to be looking into. Obviously looking at, do they use makeup? Because there's obviously some people out there that don't use makeup. And so that's kind of how you start to target. So when you spend the money, you're spending it very targeted, like a targeted method, right? And the same thing with LinkedIn. That's why we use LinkedIn, because we don't do the cold emails. We don't do the cold calls. We don't do like the email blasts, because it's not targeted, right? You're kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. LinkedIn is very similar to Facebook in the sense that you can target ideal industries, niches, and even by position, roles, right? So, and then you have a message that's targeted directly to that person. So again, you're using marketing strategies that are very hyper targeted to the individual, and it speaks to them. I think that's the most important thing too. And I think that's what we do at Launch My Agency very well, is our ideal clients, they feel like we're speaking to them, like our ads, like Zarar's ads, speaking right into them, are explaining exactly what their situation is. And that's exactly what we want for you. Because when your clients come onto the call, they want to be able to feel like you already know what their problem is and like you have a solution. And again, it starts with the niche, and it starts with the offer, and then it comes right into the marketing. And so that's what we build out for you, which is the Facebook ads. And then we've got the LinkedIn, we've got sequences, so you don't have to manually send out messages every single day. That can be so stressful, especially when it comes to cold calling, cold emails. I mean, we did that in the beginning. And when we first started, we were very naive. We were calling Jack in a Box, and we were calling the big brands thinking that they were going to take our calls. And that's the thing, right? Is you want to be efficient with your time, because time is very valuable. You don't get it back. And again, that's why we specifically design our process the way that we have, to make sure that you get the most out of the entire process of building out your business.
And again, I know we covered a lot there, but that is just lead generation. That is getting the right people through the door, the right dream clients, right? And a lot of this, I mean, there are options with us that we can do all this for you, right? Not necessarily, it doesn't mean that, we do everything top to bottom for you. But there are a couple options where we can, right? So it really just depends on what your agency advisor is going to, help you select, and kind of go from there. So just wanted to throw that out, that don't feel overwhelmed. Again, this is 9 years worth of pain, trauma, tribulations that we've been through. And like, we've literally invested millions of dollars just in marketing, millions and millions of dollars. And this is like the 10% that's going to move the 90% for you, right? Because a lot of the people watching this, you probably have a 9 to 5, you probably have a family, kids. So like, we understand that you may not necessarily have 18 hours a day, like some young kid who's like 18, 19 years old, who has nothing to do but work. We understand that. So we've designed this process specifically for people just like yourself, to be able to spend the least amount of inputs to get the maximum outputs.
Exactly right. And I think, again, the blueprint, this that we have here, is over 9 years of experience that we have building our own businesses. And there's optimizations along the way. As you can see, there's a lot of details. I mean, there's notes. I mean, we're giving you everything that we have, or at least trying to, because even this is not like 100% like exactly what it all is, because business is it can be very multi-layered, especially as you grow. But in the beginning, you want to keep it simple. And that's what we're doing here, is like, what are the main core steps that you need to take, or at least build out your agency to be able to have to properly get revenue generating. So when it comes to LinkedIn, again, those are sequences that are automated and that can be done. And then we start moving into what that path looks like of getting people on the phone, right? Because once you start getting attention and generating interest into what you have to offer, you want to be able to make sure that you optimize now the second pillar, or the third pillar, sorry. You want to make sure you optimize the third pillar, which is sales. Right? Want to be able to convert that attention and the people that are interested into paying clients. So again, when your offer is really, really dialed into who you're looking to work with, people are already hopping on the call interested, and it's more like logistical. It's no longer like, oh, is this going to work? It's more, or like, what is it that you do? It's more of like, okay, like give me the specifics, and then how much is it? It's basically like order taking. That's the goal here, right?
It's not like that used car commission only breath, that people have. They're chasing prospects, chasing clients. For us, just like you said, I mean, we get strangers, literally complete strangers, who are like telling us, oh my God, I've been looking for this for like years. And it's no coincidence, right? It's like we were able to speak the lingo, we were able to speak the language before they hop on a sales call. We didn't even call it a sales call at that point, right? And this is the reason why we're able to disqualify about 45% of people. There's no one in this industry who can actually say that. And the reason why we disqualify about 45% of the people is because we want to be able to partner with the right people that we want to work with versus the other way around. And you can only do that if you're able to position yourself as that top shelf choice, right? Which is like the first piece that you basically mentioned.
Exactly. When the offer is there, dude, it all becomes so much easier, which is why that's the first thing, right? Most businesses, they just right away get into selling their services, which oftentimes, like, the people, like, if you don't know what it is that you're actually selling, you're not selling Facebook ads, you're not selling Google ads, you're not selling SEO. What you're selling is a solution to a problem for your ideal clients, right? And so that's the thing, right? When you get into the sales process, is you want to get people on the phone. Like, when people schedule a call through the calendar, people just think, oh, that's it. Like, I'm going to be on that call at 1:00 and they're going to be there and they'll be ready to go. That's not how life works. But keep in mind, as I go into the sales process, there's going to be a lot of layers to it. I know that most of the time people don't really like taking sales calls either, which is why I launched my agency. That's one of the core components that we do for you and can do for you, which is having somebody come in and take the calls. So we recruit and we train somebody to be able to take your calls for you, a true professional. Of course, we always say that you should ideally like experience it. Because if you're going to have what's called a closer, right, essentially a salesperson taking your calls, you want to be able to manage them properly. So we do want you to learn that part. And again, we have so many options for that. And you can go ahead and ask our team what that looks like. But when it comes to getting people on the call, right, maybe you want to talk about that a little bit. It was like, when they schedule, there's, as you can see in the blueprint, there's steps that you need to take to make sure that they get on the call. Because when someone schedules a call with you, they're not just scheduling with you, right? They're a business and they have options. They need to make sure they go with the best option for their business, right? And so you want to make sure that you send like what's called reminders, right? Make sure that people get on the call. You want to send over like pre-call messages and videos, which is super important, because something that we often say for our team and our clients is that we are not in the space of like B2B, right, which is business to business, or B2C, which is business to consumer. We are in the space of H to H, right? No matter what type of business you're running, it's human to human. And you want to make sure that people feel that and that they're not just another number, right? Oftentimes, like, for example, you probably watching this video, you've probably gotten a text from one of our team members, you've gotten a call, a voice message, a video, maybe you've even gotten a video from Zarar if you're lucky enough. And that's the touch that we want to be able to give our team or our ideal clients. And that's what you want to be able to do for your ideal clients too. You want them to feel like they're important, like they're not just a number and they're just hopping on the call. So you can see here, we talk about like pre-call video, and we talk about reminders, ways that we can get them plugged in. But anything else to add on, like making sure that people show up on the calls?
Yeah, it really just starts from the offer, right? Like, again, we go back to the foundation. People want to build this really, really tall building, but they want to skip the foundational work. And it's like, no, let's kind of like stay a little bit. I'm all for being fast. I'm all for being aggressive in business, right? But there's also a time where we need to be smart and we need to think long-term. And the only way to do that is by building a very, very deep foundation. So that way, when we do construct the building, it's very tall and it's very strong. So that comes from the niche that you select, or even a sub niche. And how you do that, again, you base it on your strengths, your core expertise, what you're good at. It doesn't have to be in digital marketing, right? You could be an accountant. So like, if you're an accountant, probably going to helping other accountants get more business versus being like, hey, I want to launch a baby e-com store and like help those people, right? It doesn't really make sense. So that's that's the biggest swing that you can get when it comes to increasing show rates. And I know that's not probably what most people would say, but that's the reality of it, right? It's like, it's an ecosystem. Your full marketing, your whole business is an ecosystem. One thing, if it's not fully done properly, everything else is kind of like messed up, right? It's kind of like ants, right? The reason why ants are in the ecosystem is there's a reason. And if the ants were to disappear, man, we'd face that. Like, there's going to be, because of this to happen, things like that. So I'm sure you get the concept. So that's the number one most important thing. And just like you said, Christian, personalization. People are sick and tired of being treated like a number. They're just done, right? So it's like, can we make people feel like, genuinely feel like this is like it's like this: Rolls Royce versus Toyota Corolla, right? Everybody else is treating them like a Toyota Corolla, but like, no, we're the Rolls Royce here, right? And people will feel that through every small little detail from the top all the way down to the bottom, right? And then some tactical things like a pre-call video is really good. A pre-call video is there actually much like this one, if you think about it, right? You're probably watching this video. Either A, you're going to speak to one of my, partnership directors, or you're just learning a little bit about what Launch My Agency does, a little bit about our process, just learning how we operate. And what it's doing to you is it's aligning you with like, hey, either A, you want to work with us, or B, it's like, no, you're going to get pushed away. And that's my intention. That's literally what we do. We don't want to work with everyone. So your pre-call video should be similar to like, this is your principles, this is your philosophy, this is how you operate, this is who you are. If people resonate with you, they'll come closer. If people who don't resonate with you, they'll go, further away, and that's okay, right? We're not everyone's champion. We truly aren't. And the thing is, what's really important to understand is you want to push people away so that you don't waste your time and you don't waste their time. We live in a law of abundance, right? There's so much abundance out there. There's so many people, there's so many clients, and we need to ensure that we work with the best ones for us. And that's the same exact thing that goes for you. So your pre-call stuff, everything should be in relation to that, right? So all you're doing is you're handling objections in advance. You are showing what it is and why is it so important for that client to be able to, sign on to your services. And the how typically is what they're going to be paying you for, right? So you do all these things, and then the delivery mechanisms, there could be a couple, right? If you're collecting name, number, emails, well, then now you can do an SMS, on their personal cell phone. Like, you can give them some of this content through there. You can also email them this, or you can just outbound them, right? So you have like 3 places that I just talked about there. That's like a trifecta effect. And if you want to go even further, you can make a Facebook group, you can make a LinkedIn group, and you can add people all in there. And now you have this little ecosystem where you have an omni-channel presence, right? So again, you can go as far as you want, or you can go as less as you want. These are just tools and things that typically work really well on a big level, 7-8 figure level.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is going to come down to tracking, which, as you can see in one of the pieces here for the blueprint, is going to be what's called a CRM. And for those of you that don't know, it's called the Client Relationship Manager. And it's just a system where you can organize details, information about these clients. And again, what's really important, which is what Zarar just hit on, is like people don't want to be treated like a number. They want to be treated like a human. It's personalization. And this is what a CRM can do, is you can put in notes, and our team is really good at that, right? Any notes, any conversation that they have, they put in notes so they can remember back to that. And so here, what we're looking at on the screen is what's called Go High Level. If you've never heard of it, make sure you can take a look at it. One thing that we've done as well is we've been able to work with Go High Level to get you an account at a lower cost versus if you were to sign up with them directly, a fraction of the cost, and still get a lot of benefits from it. And when you sign up under us as well, you get exactly what I'm showing you on the screen, which is a pipeline. This one, what I'm showing you is a closer, right? And so these are steps that you can actually utilize within your agency. We're going to go from when somebody, like Zarar said, gives you the name, number, email, we consider that a lead, right? Somebody who you can speak to and it has potential to become a potential client. And then, so it starts there, and you can see here as an example, we've already got some, pretend or example clients here that are leads. What happens then is once they gave the name, number, email, and they book a call, then you move them over and they become in the book call section, right? It's a way of kind of organizing what can be pretty chaotic. I remember when we first started, we were using notepads, and it was just pretty insane before we actually came across our very first CRM. But here, once people book a call, then you stay here. You can update their notes. If you've been texting with them, you can take note here. And then once they book in a call, then you move them over to first call, right? And then you have what's called an audit. I mean, we're going through an exact agency sales process, which is what we teach inside the curriculum in a lot more depth. So first call, audit, and then we have what's called the second call. So let me just go over that first, actually. So the first call is where you're really asking questions and building a relationship with the clients, right? And then we have templates and structures of what that call should look like. We don't really believe in scripts, because typically what happens with people when they read off scripts, it just sounds very robotic. And again, going back to that personalization is you just want to be able to understand what the point of the call is, what it is that you're talking about, and then be able to have a proper connection to then move them on to the next step.
It's like we do have a script, but it's not like, oh, you're boxed in fully, right? Follow it 70%, 80% max, right? But like, the biggest thing is it's not word tracks. There isn't something that you can be like, you just say this and it's going to always work. No, it's more of a philosophy. It's more of a structure, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the reason why we're successful for our clients in 53 niches. These are 53 niches, from like accountants to lawyers to doctors to e-commerce stores to like be super high level corporate B2B to like B2C. And it always works. right? The reason for that is because the structure, the principles, and the philosophy is always the same.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is, again, we could go like hours on just like the sales process and each one of these steps are. But I would say the biggest thing is just to make sure you join and you can get that in the curriculum. And our agency advisor will walk you through this as well. I think one of the important things is within our process, we have 7 designed calls throughout the weeks that you're with us, and each call has its own intention, right? And one of those calls will be a sales process review to make sure that you understand all these steps, because it really is simple. It's not complex. And that's the biggest thing too, is like business, you wear a lot of hats and you have a lot of things to manage. So for us, the biggest thing is keeping it as simple as possible for you as a business owner, especially starting it for you. But yeah, so we've got the first call, and then once you have the first call and you understand who they are, what they need, you go into this audit phase. And I think the audit phase is really cool because that's where you can further customize and personalize this process, where, again, same thing as within Launch My Agency, we have a pool or a portal of essentially contractors that can do the work for you on your behalf for your clients. And what's cool about this audit step is you would go to them and say, here's a client that I just spoke to. Here's as many details and many notes as I took. Can you let me know what you think? And what they'll do is they'll take a look at the website or the store, and like if they've ran ads before, they can review all the numbers and the data, and they'll let you know a report of what is going well, so continue to do, or that we can build on, and then what's not going well that we should stop and maybe transition, test new things out. So like you're building a true marketing agency behind a team that is experienced with over combined, it's a lot of years.
I mean, it's like not, combined, it's like over a century probably,
Yeah.
right? 50 people, if everyone has even done 2 years, I mean, that's over 100. So it's like over a century's worth of experience, and not only their experience, but what we've seen. We've helped over 10,000 people through this generate over $100 million directly and indirectly. So this is the stuff, guys. Like there's nothing else to it. And yeah, it's a little, there's a lot of pieces to it, but when the team's kind of doing it for you, like what's the, it's the same thing over and over again. It's like we can do this in our sleep, to be honest. Like it's actually pretty easy for us at this point, right? Which is why we have that, the guarantee that we have, which is basically we help people launch and scale their digital marketing agency in 90 days and put them on track to make at least $100,000 for the year. And if not, we continue to work with them one-on-one for free until they do. Right. And there's a list of things that, of course, that the client's responsible for. There's a list of things that we're responsible for. But because the system has worked over and over and over again for so many people, we just know it's going to work, which is why we're so confident in it.
Exactly. And over the years, like we've done the work, because we personally, our company tracks over 150 data points for each person that comes in, right? This is from like what marketing material have you gone through, to how many calls did you have with our team, all the way to like how much of the videos have you watched in the curriculum. So if you do join, make sure, because we got accountability for you. And so over 150 data points. And what we've realized is there's certain patterns of people who get the success that they're looking for, get the results, right? Ideally get the clients and truly build out the business that they're looking for. And so we took those same patterns, and that's where we came up with the guarantee and the steps, right? Just what is it going to take for you to get from where you are to where you want to get to? And that's exactly what we put together over the last 8-9 years, and not only from ourselves, from the people that we've consulted, and then also the hundreds of agencies that we've helped.
And also the masterminds that we've been in, right? So we won't ever tell you anything to do if we're not either willing, able, or capable to do it ourselves. Yeah. Right? The money that we spent last year, what is it, in the 6 figures? Yep. Right? It's probably like 200-300K, somewhere in the probably, right? Something like that.
Easily.
Just in masterminds alone. Like almost $250,000, to put it in our own brains, to learn from the best of the best. We're always constantly developing ourselves, even like where we are right now, right? We're in South America because we're here for a mastermind event. There was like a charity event that we went to, billionaire over there. So it's like, we're connecting with people at that level for us to be able to get to that next level. And in return, what we're able to bring for you guys is like, it's kind of like we're taking the arrows in the back for you, and we're doing all the R&D, all the research and development, and the 10% that works, we only bring that to you guys, right? So it's the most concentrated version, which is why you see all the testimonials, all the client success, and all the people going crazy making, all this money. And it's not only about money. I want you to understand something. And I think this is like a really touchy point, because what we believe in is the person you are, like the money that you attract The money that you have is because of the person that you are. A big part, Christian, what we do is human development. And I think that is like overlooked by a lot of people, and like we don't really talk about that much. The reason why our clients are so successful, some are making 5K a month, 10K, 20, 30, 50. Some of our top clients are doing over 400 grand a month because we're able to help them become that person that they need to become. It's not uncommon for us to get testimonials and case studies from people like, hey, I just lost 60 pounds, working with you guys. And we're like, what does that have to do with us? It has everything.
The client with the blood pressure, remember?
That's Chris. The best. You want to talk about it? The best case study testimonial that we've ever gotten, not the guy who made 400K a month, is the person that he came to our event and he literally said this. He was like, you know what? Working with these guys, I've had blood pressure for years. It's the first time in my life where it's normal because the stress is just, he feels like this is what his calling was. And a lot of people watching this right now, they may have gone from course to course, from podcast to podcast, YouTube video to YouTube video, and more confused than ever, right? It's like, what is the 10% that's going to move the 90% for you? And that's what Launch My Agency is all about.
Exactly. I think that's really well said. The biggest thing ultimately, which we just did a podcast within the three of us, so myself, Zarar, and Mo, where we talked about kind of our come up and what it was like going from when we first started day one, being 17, 18 years old, to now and what we've learned. And one of those things was the mentality and the person that you become. If you want to make $100,000 a month, you can't have a $10,000 a month or $3,000 a month mindset. You can't be that person that makes $3K a month. You have to become the person that can make the $100K a month. Because, I mean, think about it, right? It's like if we give you $1 million, but you don't know how to manage it or you don't know how to truly make it, you lose it and you're right back at square one, right exactly where you started. You know what I mean? And it truly, like when you think about it, here's a reframe that we got from one of our mentors was like, for those of you watching, I could give you $1 million right now and put it into your bank account. But if I say it's locked and you can't touch it, well, you're a millionaire. Amazing, right? But you can't touch the money. So it's not actually the money that matters. It's what that money can do for you. And I think that's ultimately the biggest thing. But you have to become that individual. And that's another big part.
And it serves you in every area. Just like I said, people going to the gym, they're losing 50, 60 pounds. People literally save their marriages because of this, right? We teach people how to think. Like, if you're an employee, if you've been working for someone, not that there's anything like majorly wrong with that, but to become an entrepreneur, it requires a new way of thinking. It requires a new way of rewiring your brain. And I think that is something that we do really, really well. And I think because all these strategies, all these tools, everything that we have would be kind of useless if the captain doesn't even know how to drive the ship. Yeah. And the biggest thing that we do is we help people become the company owner, become the company CEO that they need to become in order to run this business successfully for years and years to come, for decades to come, and potentially even pass it down to their loved ones, right? It's kind of like we're not only here to give you a fish, but we're also here to show you how to catch as many fish as you want.
Exactly. I love it. Man, I think we got kind of sidetracked from what we were talking about, but this is amazing. This is what we meant by opening up the entire business. Is we're just going to be spilling everything out that we can. But yeah, to kind of pick up where we left off here is, so again, we're finishing up the pipeline here. As you can see, every step is mapped out for you. And again, this is just like a very high level view for you to see what it might look like on the inside. Once you get on the inside, you're going to see exactly how we break down every single one of these steps. How do you go about doing the audit? Because that's the next thing is like, okay, how do I do an audit? Or what do I do? What do I talk about my second call? Well, again, everything is already taken care of. I just want to show you that we have this mapped out. We've tested this hundreds of thousands of dollars in our own marketing spend, millions at this point from collective agencies and testing. And so we have found the patterns, the things that work, and what you're getting is a proven system that is constantly being refined as well. So we haven't even gotten into the curriculum yet, because I think the curriculum in itself is amazingly designed. We took time to really sit down, myself and Zarar. But everything that we learn when you join Launch My Agency, you get access to evergreen. So the curriculum is updated for life, and whatever whatever gets updated in there, you get access to it as well. So you get the most up-to-date strategies ongoing. But yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. And so this pipeline is essentially what it looks like in the CRM. So you can kind of see, like, here's a client, and then you've got your notes, you can keep track. And then going back to the this is called a whiteboard, the funnel blueprint, it's in there as well. So the CRM, and then we've got calls, and we go to the strategy session, the second call, all that being outline. So what we've talked about so far are basically three pillars, right? The first one is the agency superpower, which is niche, right? Who is the ideal client? Who are you working with? And then the offer, which is what is a solution to a problem that you have designed for them specifically. Then we talked about marketing, which this ties into the marketing, because when you have a really good offer, the marketing becomes that much simpler to get attention and to get at your ideal clients, scheduling calls, reaching out, or even speaking with you.
Also cheaper.
Yeah.
Right. I think
too.
it's like you are going into business to make your life easier, to do this as to put in the least amount of inputs, whether it's time, money, resources, attention, energy, to put in the least amount to get the maximum result. And that's where people screw up, is they're just chasing leads. The more they chase, the more they run away from them. Instead, if you focus on yourself, if you focus on your business and you make it so strong, you're able to attract people. That's the reason why we're able to do anywhere from 40 to like 60K a day on average now, cash collected per day. Without us, like tomorrow actually. So we're here in South America right now. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we're getting picked up and we're going to a tour to visit Pablo Escobar's house. And we're doing a nice little private tour on a Tuesday. The reason why we're able to do that is because we have a team in place, and these systems, processes, like this stuff, kind of just works on itself, because we're able to position ourselves as that superior top shelf choice that no one can even compete. Like, we have no competitors. We have indirect competitors, yeah, but nothing direct, nothing to the level that we operate in. And that alone is the reason why we're able to be pretty successful at what we do.
Absolutely. It just goes back to the supply and demand concept, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even have to take economics in high school or college to understand that when supply increases, the price decreases, right? Because there's so many options. So everybody's just fighting for like who can charge the least. Versus if it's the opposite, right? There's high demand and low supply, the price can increase, which is why we teach charging higher price points, because not only can you be more profitable, but again, it just always comes down to the offer, which is so important. And this is why we stress it so much, because no one else talks about it. No one else talks about really understanding who you're.
Let's talk about that. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do people not talk about that? Because it doesn't sell that well, right? And this is the problem that we've had with the reason why we made Launch My Agency is because we just got sick and tired of going from course to course, buying this $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, course that people are just trying to teach us like the quickest, fastest way of like, oh my God, this is the thing that's going to do it. But it doesn't have any foundation, man. It doesn't have any, it's just a sexy thing to sell. But when it comes to the fulfillment, nothing. We could do that too if we wanted to. We'd be way more successful, but is that really success if our clients aren't winning? Because what we view this as, the best form of marketing is client wins and client success. That is the best form of marketing. And that's what we choose to optimize for, So that's why there isn't a talk about this in the marketplace. And we're pretty much the first ones to actually bring it up. And yeah, it's not the sexiest, it's not the coolest thing to sound, but it works. It's rock solid and it works every single time.
Exactly. And again, people just kind of throw you into the deep end before they really teach you how to swim. And this is the part that we're really showing you, is how do you swim so you can get from the one end of the pool to the other. People just kind of throw you in the middle. And that's why so many people struggle to even swim to the other side, because they don't know how. And the offer is the teaching of how to swim. It's like, how do I truly solve a problem for a business that they're going to pay me money for? Again, if you have any issue in the world, any problem that's dire, that's causing a problem, that's costing you money, ultimately that's what businesses are going through, right? If they can't generate money, it's costing, that's an opportunity cost. So for them, it's worth it to pay you to then get, real estate agents, right? If they can make from one sell of a home $5,000, $10,000 commissions, depending on how valuable the building is. I mean, it makes sense to pay an agency $3K if they can just get one client a month, right? $5K, $10K commissions. The math makes sense. So you have to start thinking that way, because now we're not trading time for money. We're trading value. We're trading a solution for money, ultimately. But yes, that's what we've got here. That's the main thing that we've been talking about with the marketing, is being able to generate demand. And then now with the sales pillar, we've been talking about how do you convert that demand into paying clients. And the fourth pillar is called fulfillment. But in reality, I think we should just start calling it more client success, because we honestly don't even use the word fulfillment in our company. But fulfillment is very easy, because it's just like how you fulfill, right? But the problem is that when you think of the word fulfillment, it's just the definition is, we can probably put it up on the screen. It's literally getting exactly what you asked for, exactly how you expected it, right? So it's basically the bare minimum. But
it's the promises that were made in the marketing, and the fulfillment is making sure we fulfilling the promises that we made in the marketing.
Yeah, and just on a very, very simple level, like very straight line. But for us, what we call it is client success on the back end, because ultimately it's not just about like giving people what they expect. Because what are you going to remember more? Is somebody who comes in and cleans your house, and sure, the house is clean. Or are you gonna remember the person that comes and cleans your house and then they leave like, like the toilet paper stamped with a little like logo or something. You've got the towels folded in a certain way, or you've got the bed sheets that are folded, and you've got what are those animals called? The
oh yeah, like
you
a
know
little
what I mean?
swan.
Exactly, the swan. Like who are you going to remember more, right? We're talking about experience at this point, because is like what we just talked about. We spent a lot of time talking about how do you get a client to come into your world and be paying. Now it's like, how do I keep this client, right? Because when you have a leaky bucket, that bucket is never going to truly fill. And the problem is, if you continue to try to feel like it's always an never ending, like what is that called?
Hamster wheel.
Hamster wheel. And so you want to make sure that you can retain these clients, to make sure that if you close a $3,000 client this month, they also pay you next month and the month after. And what happens there is like, you're not starting every month at zero. You're starting at 3,000. And then if you close another client, well, now that's another 3K, so now it's 6K. And if you keep them, that month is 6K now, instead of starting
and for
at zero.
most people watching this, it's like, I mean, 6K or like 2 or 3 clients is more than enough for them to replace their income.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning, my friend, right? Like, our agency, we're very fortunate to do 7 figures a month because of the same concept. Every single month, next month, we're like, yeah, we'll be fine. Like, even if we lose all our clients, like, if we lose our new clients, our client success is so good that the retention rate is so high. It's just going to constantly keep coming in, right? So that's the beauty about having a business that is in the online space. I have a friend, actually, he does $7 million a month in the e-commerce space. But he tells me, he's like, you know what? Every single month, I just feel like I have to start from scratch, and I have to my expenses are so high, but next month, because the products are just like consumable, they're done. But with an agency model, it's a retainer based. Every single month, the clients are going to be paying you. Yeah, sure, you're going to have a few clients leave. That's part of the game. But if you have 10 clients and you lose 2, your next month, you're still starting at 8. And if you do 8 times 3, 24, right? So you're still at $24,000 a month. That is your base bare minimum. And then anything you add on is just like pure on top of it.
Exactly.
That's why it's so easy. Like it's one of the easiest things for beginners to start. Even advanced people. I'd say we're pretty advanced, and we still choose this business model over anything else. Not the software house. We've had, we still have them, our apps, games, but this is the best business model, which is like the easiest and just most relaxing.
It's super simple. And again, as you can see on the screen, we've got every single step of the way mapped out. Now, the client success is really simple, right? Again, the process and the system of like getting people onboarded, what does the communication look like? Like, that's the easy part. What is extra is, again, how you make people feel. Because people are going to always remember not what you say to them, but it's how you say it. It's what it is that you do on the back end. And so that's super important, super key to really think about and consider as you start bringing on clients. How can you create an experience that's memorable, right? There's plenty of books out there that talk about it, and we've done the reading for you, and we've been able to map it out for you and give you ideas on what that looks like, because every business owner has different philosophies, right? Some people like handwritten notes, which is something that we've done. We always write out handwritten notes. We used to send out, which is a really good idea. If you want to steal it, we might as well just give it to them. If you want to send out like cookies or something to a new client and you have their logo printed on it, I think that's a super nice touch.
But we just upped it up though. I think this is one of the first times that we're sharing this, but for every single client that we get now at this point, we sponsor an orphan, and we don't sponsor them for like a month or 2. It's for a year. All their food, all their living expenses, and their education. So these are people, these are orphans with like mom and no mom and dad, and you don't have anyone to like look for them, look after them. So God has blessed us to be in a place where we're just like, we'll just sponsor that person, that kid, and then we'll just take a picture and we'll showcase, especially as they develop, right? Like this, this kid went to school, he started like this. And then over the year, we send pictures and updates to the client that we donated for. Right. And also, actually, we're going tonight as well. Like right after this, we're going to go feed about how many people tonight? 350 people we're going to go feed today. And it's going to be fried chicken. They just love it. That was like their wish that they wanted. It's like a little, is it a hostel or what is it?
It's like a women's shelter.
It's like a women's shelter. Exactly. So women who are, fleeing from Venezuela because the economic situation is pretty rough out there. And, we've been doing this weekly now. So this is our, this is the Monday tonight is going to be our time. So yeah, we're going to feed 350 people. We're going to make some of the sandwiches as well, and then some fried chicken. It's going to be pretty cool. And all this is possible because of having a digital marketing agency. We're not bound by bosses. We're not bound by being, oh, we have to be in this little cubicle. We have to stay here. And then the most important thing is we're not bound by an income cap, right? Like we have the same 24 hours that you do or anyone else does. But the reason why we're able to make not only money, but also the impact that we have is because of these principles, because of the leverage, because of these systems that work over and over again. And especially the reason why we really, really blew up as well is because of AI. We're able to incorporate AI to levels not only for ourselves, but also for our clients, that we're able to automate a lot of human labor to a level where it's just insane, man. Clients are winning to the highest level possible, with some AI stuff. Maybe you can also shed some light on that too.
Yeah, we'll definitely go into it. I think right now we spent a lot of time like going over the full agency blueprint so you can see what exactly is it that you're getting built and what it is that you're building, right? Now, this is probably like the most ideal visual, and obviously we'll do some updates to it. But that way you can see like at a high level, what is the business, what does the model look like, and what is each step that gets built out. And now keep in mind, there are a lot of steps, there's a lot of notes here, there's a lot of things, because of course, like running a business, there's a lot of pieces to it. So make sure you lean into our team that can be able to help do a lot of it for you. And so now we can go through like the more specifics of what does it look like on the inside, right? So here on the screen, what we'll pull up here in a second is what the curriculum looks like. So this is what the inside of the curriculum looks like. And like Zarar had mentioned, AI, we can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got a little head popping out there. And his name is Zarshan. And most of you can
Anyone want to guess what that is?
can probably take a guess.
Take 2 seconds. No? All right. If you didn't get it, it's my name and Christian's name combined together. My name's Zarar, his name's Christian. So Zarshan is the name of our AI CSM.
Yeah. And so essentially the reason, again, everything that we do here is with intention, right? With Launch My Agency. From the very beginning, when we first started, Zarar and I sat down, we really mapped out what should our client journey look like? What should our offer? What is it that we are providing to you, the viewer, that you truly need? Maybe sometimes even clearer that we know what you need than what you think you need, if that makes sense. And one of the things was Zarshan. And so Zarshan was also created because not only is Zarshan built on like the frameworks of ChatGPT, but he is trained on the brains of myself and Zarar. We took the time to really pour into him. How do we think, right? That's the biggest thing, is like, how do we think? How do we learn? How do we run our business, our agency? So that way, when you ask it a question, it can answer it, not just, again, very generic, like a ChatGPT would, but very specific to like, okay, here's what two owners of a successful digital marketing agency would do in this case, right? Whether it's a niche question, what niche would I pick? This niche, like what problems do they have? How would I design my offer? Can you write an example what an offer or marketing message would look like? All these different things, right? Sales script. Can you help me with my sales script and tailoring it to my specific niche? All those different questions that you ask it is going to give you an answer as if it were myself and Zarar, right? There's only so many people we can meet with on a daily basis. So we try to find ways that we can really truly expand our impact, right? Which is how we designed Zarshan. And so I'll show you here. Like,
and the best part is that it's anytime. You could do it at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night and you'll get a response like this. And that response is not generic. It's literally as if myself or Christian were in your ear telling you, do this, no, don't do that, or do this exactly to help you get the results that you're looking for. And that, again, I think it's lifetime, right? That piece, that's lifetime access to that. So as we also develop, right, because we're only in a certain stage in our life, in our careers, and, hopefully we keep continuing to go up, and all the masterminds, all the resources, the knowledge, the experience, the millions of dollars that we're going to spend even, over the next few years, you're still getting access to that as a Launch My Agency client. Because one of the most important things for us is we don't leave anyone behind, right? And I think that's something that we've been able to be successful for. Clients see that, even team members see that, and they're like, I just want to work with people like this, right? You can hear it for yourself. You can see the testimonials and the case studies that we have, because we believe in lifelong team members and lifelong clients, and we will die by that. That is like our core philosophy as a company. And because we have that, we're able to give our clients lifelong access to certain pieces of the Launch My Agency program.
Right. And if you talk about client success, I mean, that's our own version of how we built out Launch My Agency, again, with intention. When you build out a business, you have to do it intentionally. And I think the biggest thing is being able to leverage years of experience without you having to do it, right? Us, like Zarar said earlier, we took the arrows in the back. We went through investing and spending our own money to land our very first client. So we can teach you, like, what did we learn within that time to land our first client that you can then leverage, and it won't take you as long, right? Or like messaging. I mean, how long did it take us to like finally learn copywriting? Years,
man.
Years of
and years,
experience,
yeah.
testing trials, right? Failure in terms of like copy not working, copy will work, and then refining the patterns that we're seeing. And that's how we came up with the skills. So again, you don't have to figure that out. We have that figured out. And that's where the curriculum comes in along with Zarshan. So again, Zarshan is able to help you go through the curriculum. And I think the biggest thing too is, as you'll notice, is I'm not saying the word course because we don't have a course. A course is just a bunch of videos that are used to drown you in busy work and kind of keeping you distracted and just like, you know, like a water hose.
Yeah.
But for us, the curriculum is very targeted. We know how long each module is, which, for example, I believe the first 3 modules, so module 0, 1, 2, 1 and 2, so the first 3 are only, I think, an hour and a half long within the 3 modules. So like we are not here to drown you in content and videos. We're here to give you exactly what you need to take one step and then the next step and the next step, right? It's kind of like getting to the top of the staircase. You have to get one step in front of the other in order to get to the top. You can't just magically jump up a whole story.
Yeah. And it's not here to teach you, oh, how to become the best copywriter in the world. Here's how pixels work and all this little nitty gritty stuff. Although if that's what you kind of want to learn, I mean, there's ways to go about that. You can just sit on some of our internal team meetings or marketing meeting or daily sales meeting or whatever. But the idea of this core training curriculum is to help you become that company owner and that company's CEO, so that from a high level, you know the different pieces that it takes to run this business successfully, and you're able to properly manage it without having to spend who knows how many hours, right, a day. We want to be able to mitigate that as least as possible, but you still knowing what's going on and how it's working for your business, so you feel that confidence and you're able to literally predict how much income you're going to make 6-7 months from now, right? Because we're not here to just hopefully throw things on the wall, just like most other people teach or most other people do, and just hope it sticks. No. It's very intentional. It's like you do these things, you'll get XYZ results. And typically we're only off by about 5%. And that is a real business, right? Versus, oh, let me try this and like it doesn't work. And then you're like, what is it? You know, you get all this confusion and like, and then what happens, right? Physiology, like your mental, and no one talks about these things, right? Like, when you're trying to sleep at night, you're like, I don't know if this business is going to work. And no one talks about that, the mental stress. And what does that do? Your confidence goes lower and lower and lower. And that shows up in other areas of your life. That shows up in your marriage, if you're married, in your relationships, personal, romantic, all these things. We're mitigating all that. We're showing you, no, this is what you need. Just like you said, it's only an hour and a half, the first 3 modules. It's designed to be the most concentrated version to help you get the results that you're looking for as fast and as quick as is possible.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the biggest thing here is that what Zarar is talking about, we're going to show you exactly what that looks like here within the CEO walkthrough of the curriculum, is where everything is designed in a way where it's like step by step of what exactly that you need, right? So here we're looking at module 0, very simple, right? At a very simple level, what we're doing here is we're teaching you or showing you what it looks like in more detail working with us, right? So again, from you looking from the outside in before even joining Launch My Agency, we're showing you what you're going to get access to here in the curriculum. We're showing you all the different steps. So here I'm going to do a little quick like scroll down. You got module 0, welcome, right? This is your orientation. Just making sure that you understand like Launch My Agency. Where is everything at? How can you find anybody? You know, who is your agency advisor? Because that is your go-to person. Then you've got module 1, which is the mentality of the $100,000 per month agency owner, which is basically myself and Zarar just walking you through how we think, right? How do we go from 0 to our first 10K to then 50K to then 100K per month, and then even beyond, because we're beyond that at this point, well beyond. But we're showing you like what that looks like, those steps, and how to become that individual and how to think too. The biggest thing that I've noticed is that people typically get caught up in the small things that they need to do, when in reality, if it's not a revenue generating activity, which we learned the hard way, you probably shouldn't be doing in the beginning. You know, you want to be able to outsource that and focus on driving money into the business, because otherwise you don't have a business. If there's no money, there's no leads, there's no calls, there's no clients.
And you know where that comes from? Being
Fear.
alone, being by yourself. And most people want to take that easy route because they're like, oh, it's cheaper. Is it? What about opportunity cost? That 10, 20, 30K, is it worth you potentially figuring this out over maybe the next year or two, versus having a team? And this doesn't have to, like, it's not only for us, right? It's like if you want to work with someone else, or if you're like, maybe someone's a better fit for you, because I'm not sure of your needs, but at least be with someone who's been there, done that over and over again, and stop thinking so like small, like, oh my God, this money, like it's cheaper if I just do it on loan. That's just a chance of you even figuring it out. And I'll tell you right now, it'll take you years and years. That's just the reality of it.
Yep.
Whereas, on the opposite side, it's like proven system, proven team. Every single time it works, as long as, they do the things that they're supposed to on their end. So I think that's, a little bit of food for thought, where people just make decisions so based on like short-term thinking versus long-term thinking versus looking at the whole thing holistically.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things our clients have mentioned to us is like, which I love this, I respect it very much, when they come to us and they say, I don't know what I don't know. And they're leaning on us to be able to tell them and give them that clarity. Because like, for example, Zarar and I, our entire executive team, we took 4 months to come up with a name. And someone could have just told us how to like just simply keep that name super simple and just start.
Yeah. And so actually, Christian, sorry. The reason why I just went on that little tangent is because what you just said, right? I just kept it internal. It took us 4 months of like working 8-9 hours a day of like, oh, what name should we? And here's the thing, at the end of the day, the name, the branding, the logos, the colors, even though it may seem important to you, it's not what people need. It's more important to the owner than it is for the client, actually. Mm-hmm. So me just looking back, I'm like, I wish someone saved that time for us, right? Because it was, at the time, it was 3, actually it was 4 of us, right?
Yeah.
So what's 4 times 4? 16. That's over a year on just coming up with a name. And the best we could do was come up with our acronyms. So we just used CANS because that was like our initials. So it's like, I wish we had someone. I wish we, because we took the cheap route. We were like, oh, we'll just figure it out on our own. And we had a choice to spend the money. We were like, no, it's too much money. We'll figure it out. And that ended up costing us a lot.
Yeah. And it's not to say that you shouldn't like, put some thought into your name, into your branding, but it's like, don't do it yourself. Like allow that to be done by someone else, and that way you can then focus on, again, always we're going to sound like a broken record. It's revenue generating activities. How do you bring in money to the business? Because that's ultimately what matters. That's what we're doing here. And even when you start making money, what's important too, which we'll walk through that here in a second, is like, how can you still continue to focus on the highest leverage, right? What is the priority that the business needs from you in order to grow properly? Because what we're not looking here to do for you is have you hire yourself into another job, because that's what people often do. And honestly, in the beginning, we did that ourselves. We started making money, but we were doing all the work ourselves. So it's kind of like we're working a 9 to 5. We just happen to be paying ourselves, which, it sounds cool, but it really was not what we were looking for, right? What we're looking for is a lifestyle, something that can get you your time back so you can properly do what it is that you want to do. So what we were just talking about, right, which is the mentality of becoming the agency owner. We then jump straight into building your business foundations, right? What is it that you needed for a business? Like we're talking about like LLC stuff, which that stuff can be kind of scary. It can overcomplicate. And for us, it took us a long time to do something as simple as an LLC, which I think nowadays you can do it within days.
But even before that, right? It's like, should we do an LLC? Should we do an S Corp? Should we do a corporation, C Corp? What should we do, a sole proprietorship? You don't even know. So you're doing all this research, just like I can go on and on about each and every small little detail, versus it's like, oh, this is exactly what you need. And we're saving like months probably again of just like picking the right. And then also, who do you select? Some of these people, they do it the wrong way. And turns out, if you don't do your LLC properly, well, then now you're personally liable. So if you have a house, and if you ever get sued, the house can potentially go if you don't properly set it up. People try to save money on that too, So it's like, just being smart. Again, it's all about partnerships, partnering with the right individuals, partnering with the right people that are good at what they do, versus just like trying to figure it out on your own.
And kind of piggybacking off of that is, when we say partnering with the right people, think about it from the perspective of the people that are doing the LLC setup and stuff like that. To them, everything in their head is very simple. But when they explain it to you, or when they explain it to us, they're like, okay, well, tell me, do you want an LLC? Do you want an S Corp? Do you want a C Corp? And so to them, they're like, just tell me what you want, I'll do it. But for us, we're like, okay, what is an S Corp? What is a C Corp? What is an LLC?
What
it's
are
like
the pros and cons?
Exactly. And so to them, it's like very simple, and they're kind of looking at us like we're dumb. But it's like, dude, like I'm a business owner. I don't know this stuff. I just want the business, to be formed. So we're showing you from 2 business owners, keep it simple, and here's exactly who you can go to. Tell them what you want, and they already know, our type of clientele. They know who you are coming in. They know typically who we work with, and they keep it super simple, and they give you exactly what you need. They even help guide you through the process. And that's exactly what we're looking to do here within module 2 of building out your business foundations. And once you build that out, we start moving into finding your agent superpower, which we just talked about, right?
Well, I think there's one more thing that we didn't cover. So basically what that is leverage, right? Is being able to have the most amount of leverage. And we're able to help our clients, for most people watching this, we probably live in America, right? And it's like, you can use other people's money to make your own money, right? And that is leverage. Now, you may be like, hey, I don't want to do that. At least have it as a back pocket. At least have it for a rainy day. So we're able to get people personal funding, business funding. We're able to improve their credit scores from like, some people have like 500-600 to like 820s and above, right? We have the right vendors. We have the right people to be able to partner with to increase that. And then also ultimately help you get business funding. On average, we are able to get our clients $63,000. $63,000 of just us like working with them. What's the ROI on that, right? 63,000, man. That's life-changing money for a lot of people. And you don't have to use that all for your business. You can just have it just to have it, right? For a rainy day. Or, I mean, we had one client who was like, hey, you know what? My basement flooded. Let me just spend 30 grand on like fixing that. And we're like, cool. So we are able to help them get that because we have relationships with like big banks like Chase and like some really good relationship managers that we have because of the company that we operate in. And because of that, because of our leverage, we're able to bring those partnerships to our clients. And that's how we're able to get the funding that some of our clients need, right? Or even scholarships. Like that's something that, we have partnerships on. So we're able to get people scholarships, whether they want to invest into our program, we're able to get them that. Or if they need ad spend, if they need to hire employees, VAs, we have partnerships in all of that. So you don't have to try to do this on your own, basically.
Exactly. And I think what's really important about the funding is that because of the space that we're in, right? We're in a service-based business, we're online business, and we're a digital marketing agency. We don't have the hard upfront costs of a typical brick and mortar store or a typical brick and mortar business, right? Because even before you can even open doors, you have to get the lease, you have to get your equipment, or you have to like essentially get the space ready. You have to get your products or whatever it is that you need for your service. Then you have to hire employees and help because obviously it's very difficult to do by yourself. We're talking about all those expenses just for you to open doors, and we haven't even talked about advertising, right? But here with this business model is like you are a service-based business. There's no upfront cost besides maybe some softwares, and then you just go straight into advertising, which advertising is exactly what you need to create demand and get the clients, right? So you're spending it properly. And again, it's just leverage, being able to have it at your disposal should you want to use it, and eventually you might want to scale. That's the biggest thing.
And our model is like, it's kind of like every dollar is your soldier. And that dollar is there to get more dollars back into your pocket. At minimum, when you first start, it's like 6 to 8x, right? Typically. When you start scaling, then yeah, it does go down a little bit. But like for us for right now, it's like 4 point something. So it's like, for example, it's like for every dollar we spend, we make back over $4 at this scale. But when you first start, it's like 6, 8. I mean, I've seen some really interesting cases where it's like 20x. But again, it's not the norm, right? It's not something that you should bet on. But the idea is to be able to have that funding so you can actually invest, into your ads, into the program, into like other pieces that are going to be able to give you the maximum amount of leverage in order for you to be successful.
Right. And it's preparation for the future because we started out with spending $5 a day.
Yeah.
Then you go into $30, $50 a day. Eventually you get to a point where you can start scaling.
We started from zero, actually. We started on LinkedIn first, right? And then from there, once we got a few leads, we got our first few clients, then we're like, oh, let's do the $5 a day thing, right? So you may be thinking to yourself, oh, I need to have XYZ money for ads. It helps, but it's not something that, you have to do, right? So it's like we have multiple ways to get clients, right? Another thing is like for us, when someone invests into what we have, into our partnership program, we internally we want to put that money back into their pocket very, very fast and basically make it free for them. So we basically get people quick wins, which one of the things is like funding. We're able to get people a lot of funding, but then also it's like using your own referral network, the people that you know, or people of people. So that way, once we lock in a niche, once we lock in an irresistible offer, we're able to just pick up the phone and just like, call a couple of people that we know and get to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month like that without any like extra expenses or anything. Yeah. And now everything's free basically for you at this point. And that's the beauty about, this type of business model.
Exactly. That's the beauty about service-based businesses. And again, specifically digital marketing agencies, because like when you think about every business, what is it that they need is they need to get new clients. And the way they do it is through attention, through creating demand, through marketing. And that's where an agency is the perfect business model to go into. And that's exactly what we talk about in module 3 is like, how do you think about crafting an offer, which is a solution to a problem, which if you go into your referral network, even if they're not the ideal client persona you're going after, because what we talk about is like when you are going to launch any sort of marketing, whether it be Facebook ads, LinkedIn, or any of the other variety of different strategies that we have, you want that messaging to speak directly to your ideal client. Because as the saying goes, when you speak to everybody, you speak to no one. But that's what for the messaging. Now in your referral network, as long as you understand how to have that superpower, right, to be able to see who is that person and what problem do they have that I can solve, then you're probably able to bring them on as a client.
Yeah.
Because it's your referral network. So trust is not an issue.
Exactly.
Now it's like, how can I present a solution to them that I can then be paid for?
Exactly. And the biggest thing is the reason why people kind of like fail at that strategy is because of the confidence, because they're like, if I get this person, I know him very, very well, or I know her very well. What if I can't deliver? Well, then that's what we were like, hey, just use our 50 people, like award-winning, some of the best marketers in the world, just use them. So like when people have a call, one of the things that we have as well is a partnership, a white label partnership coordinator, right? So that like, for example, what Christian said, when you do audits, we're able to do unlimited free audits for you. Right. So this person is like the point man between your client and, the agency that's going to be able to fulfill for the services for your client. So once you speak to him, you're like, okay, I can relax. I know the people that I bring on, they will be handled really, really, carefully, and they're going to get the results that they're looking to get. And now as a new agency owner, I don't have to have this fear of me like not being able to potentially be able to deliver. I know I can trust this team that's worked with Porsche, Hello Abound, Makeup Eraser, Airbus, some of the largest brands in the world, and just focus on, just like you said, revenue generating activities. And those are the clients, like that's basically our whole process is like focus on that so you can bring in the 10, 20, 30, 50K a month.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what comes after the module 3, which is building your fulfillment team, right? Being able to see, okay, I know what it's like to create the demand. I know how it is to craft an offer. What does it look like when actually you land a client, right? And then you can connect the dots and you can see what that process looks like. And I'll show you exactly in that module, like what are the steps to like, how does white label work? How do I communicate with them? How does the communication work between myself, them, and then my clients? Like, what are the relationships? I clarify all that for you within that module. And I even give you the same system that we used and we still use to this day, doing over 100K per month before we start to make some adjustments, right? Because at that point, then the scale gets a little bit heavy on the fulfillment, but for you, you don't have to worry about that, especially in the beginning. It's really just keeping it simple and get into your first 10K. Because as soon as you get to the first 10K, you've cracked the system.
That's it.
It works. Yeah. And now it's just a matter of doing more of that, right? So if you did LinkedIn, you got your first 2 clients. Well, now it's just about sending more messages, getting on more calls.
And you just have other people do it for you, right? Yeah. Or if you spend money on ads, you just increase the ad spend. And I think that's a big misconception most people have, including ourselves, right? When we first launched, we were like, oh, okay, we got to 10K a month, but to get to 100K a month, oh my God, we're going to have to 10X this. This is hard. No, it's actually the opposite. It's kind of like this. When you turn on a stovetop, right? It's like, it's like the click, 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 click. But once it's on, all you have to do is just like, psh, and it increases. Mm-hmm. Same exact concept. So that's what we tell our clients is like, just get to your first 10K a month, which is why we're like, we have a guarantee in place for a reason, mm-hmm. So just use that, use the team, do the things that we ask you to. Of course, it's not going to come by you just snapping your fingers. You're going to have to put in some effort. So you're going to have to put in some work, right? Just like anything in life. But if you do these XYZ things we ask you to, you will absolutely get the results, if not way beyond the results that you're actually looking for.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's where we then transition into from like the fulfillment team. We go straight into what are the marketing strategies. Now, as you can see, there's multiple here. We don't just go over one, and we're going to keep on adding more, by the way, because we want you to focus on LinkedIn and Facebook, but those are not the only ones. Like we talked about quick wins, right? Who in your network can connect you with a potential client, whether it is that you know somebody who owns a certain type of business or you know somebody who knows somebody who owns a type of business, right? That is the most powerful thing to leverage for quick wins.
And you just give them a percentage, right? Because
Exactly.
like to make it a win-win for everyone, you just give them a small percentage, 10, 15%. And now they're your sales reps. So like now, I mean, we have clients like doing 10K a month from one client. Imagine if you were to give someone in your network that deal. So now they're making $1,500, $1,000 to $1,500 per month recurring. People will do anything for that. They'll go out and be your best salespeople, and you don't have to do a thing, right? They convert them, they bring them to you, and you just have to fulfill using a proven team. Right. And that's how you scale with like no ad spend. And that's the beauty. Again, we keep coming to the same thing about the service base, specifically a digital marketing agency model.
Exactly. No, that's a beautiful description right there. Again, it's something known as a referral program. We call it ambassador program. Yeah. We have one as well. So like people who refer clients over to launch my agency, they get that essential like commission that we would have paid out to a salesperson to that person.
We have people, a few people who actually they're making like 12, 15K a month. They're doing nothing. They're just like, just keep referring people to us. And we're like, cool, we just keep cutting them checks. It's lifelong as well.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah. So you can see like there's a variety of different strategies. We will give you, and your agency advisor will customize this to you as well. Again, like this is a proven system that has worked time and time again for hundreds of agencies. obviously each person that comes in, we customize it, we personalize it to you depending on how big your network is. Because guess what? If you've got a big network of businesses, well, we're probably going to focus there for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Because you've got a lot of potential there. And then our team will then focus on the Facebook and LinkedIn for you. Like there's a lot of things that we can do to make sure that we maximize your earning potential very early on. So you can see here, we've got a variety of different strategies for being able to do that. And then we've got the module for what's called our 2-call sales process. Again, the biggest thing, even I remember when we first started, I was very scared to take sales calls. But in reality, the only reason why I was scared, and maybe you felt the same way, is the fear of the unknown. Right. I didn't know what to do on those calls.
Yeah.
My very first sales call, like, what do I even ask this guy? What's his name again? I mean, there's just so much. And then eventually you learn the process of like, okay,
we had a lot of limiting beliefs, right? It's like sales is icky. It's like uncomfortable. And yeah, to some level, it is uncomfortable, right? It's like you're taking someone from where they're currently at in their soft space, in their nice little comfortable space, but they want to get XYZ desired results. And it just takes change to change, right? And they're thinking that, oh, we're just going to do the same things over and over again and expect different results. But that is the definition of insanity by Albert Einstein, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, as a sales rep, yeah, it is a little challenging. It is a little uncomfortable, which is why we're like, just use one of our sales reps who has done this over and over again. Bare minimum requirements. This person has closed at least $500,000 in agency services before. And then we basically just kind of plug them in, to your business. Again, it kind of depends on the different, level that you're at. We don't do this for everyone, right? Because like it takes a big toll on our team. But if not, we'll just train and teach you how to do it. And even if you have a sales rep, you still need to know what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, so you can actually properly manage them, right? Because it's like, you don't want to be blind leading the blind, right? So, we're able to show you the 2-call process, and it's super simple. It's like one of the easiest things that I can say, like if you follow the process versus you just hoping, or like you just, thinking that, oh, it probably works this way. No, this is exactly how it works. And it's the simplest thing in the world. How long is our sales module? Like 2 hours, maybe max?
I think so. Well, there's a lot of like additional trainings. We even give you videos to watch. We give you sales recordings of closes that we've had, so you know what it sounds like from start to finish, of like, what is it like to get someone from starting the conversation to eventually taking out their credit card and paying you. So that's why it's a little bit longer, but that's bonuses. Those are additional.
Yeah,
that you can
and also
from.
It's like how you set up your business, right? It's like, that's one of the things, is like, we are all inclusive from top all the way down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing is, most people think that marketing is by itself and it's in a silo. They think sales is in a silo. They think client success or client fulfillment is by itself and it's its own department. And yeah, it is, but it's all part of the same ecosystem, right? So it's like, if you're able to do all this all inclusive, then that's where life actually becomes so much easier, cheaper, and it's just like super smooth, less stress for you, right? But the moment you start taking it silo by silo, that's when you start really screwing it up, right? Because sales is not here to be like super like pushy ever. The idea is to get people to be as like, ready to go as possible. They're just like, oh, here's my credit card. How can I get started? And it's just a logistical thing, right? I don't have the full money, or whatever the case is, instead of trying to fight them like most other people do. That's why sales has this bad rep, in the marketplace, where it's like very icky.
Yeah, I mean, I think the icky part is just known as like the used car salesman tactics, right? Like forcing somebody to buy a car and like getting super sleazy. Here's the thing, is like, sales doesn't have to, and it shouldn't be like that. The only reason that you're doing that is when you're selling someone who's not aligned. But when you have an offer, again, this all goes back to the very beginning. When you have an offer that speaks to your clientele and it solves the problem for them, it makes the marketing easier because they're more likely to come into your world, schedule a call. And then when you get on the phone, you don't have to be like salesy, right? Quote unquote. You don't have to be sleazy. You don't have to use these tactics and like, because
it's just a conversation.
Exactly, because they have a problem and you've already said, I know this problem. Here's the problem I know that you and this industry has. I have the solution. Now it's like, okay, well, tell me what the solution is. Tell me how much it is. Like, it's more like a logistical conversation when you do it correctly, right? And the biggest thing too is like Zarar said, we don't do this for everybody because our done for you sales process is pretty hands-on. I'm talking about like, not only do we place a closer, but there's a level of, I'll call it indirect management, where we overlook the numbers. Our internal sales manager will take a look at some of those numbers. They'll make sure they train them, and they'll make sure they oversee it while you're with us. And they make sure that they do convert those deals.
And the person that we have on, by the way, is one of the world's best when it comes to this digital marketing agency space. His retainer alone, if you were to try to just hire him by himself, is $12K a month, by the way. And of course, you don't have to pay anywhere near that, right? Because we have an amazing internal kind of system that we have built out. But, it's like, this is the real deal, guys. This is not some like random person in like a third world country and just like, like a VA. No. This is real stuff. Yeah. So this guy's done over multiple eight figures in sales.
and specifically in the agency world. He
Yeah.
specializes in that. Not only did he have his own agency, not only well, let's take a step back. Not only was he a closer for agencies, then he grew his own agency. Then he went into becoming a sales manager for agencies. And then eventually he actually worked with us as well, with our agencies over time too. So he's very, very good at what he does. He's very targeted. And again, we don't accept like everybody because it is very hands-on, but that is something that, truly, if the sales process is taking a lot of time, or even if you just want to be able to get some help with it, to be able to accelerate the time to be able to convert these deals, that's something that's available as well. But again, the sales process is super simple. We've got a lot of resources, a lot of recordings as well, so you can hear what it's like to have those deals closed. And then the final module that we have here is essentially tracking profit and company structure. Like, okay, now that you've got the marketing launch, you know what your fulfillment team looks like, you've got sales coming in, how do I properly structure my business to track numbers, right? And the system that we show you is very simple, and it's the same one that we used to get the 6 figures per month before we even started to look at I think we started using QuickBooks at that time, but it's that simple to where we can get you from 0 to 100K per month. Same system tracking how much money's coming in, what money's going out, what are your expenses, what are your profit margins. Super easy, super simple.
Yeah.
And then also like structure, right? When it comes to like what kind of agreements should you have in place? Because keep in mind, like you do want to protect yourself, so you need an agreement with the closer, you need an agreement with your setter, like the team members, and we help expedite that process too. Now, of course, you still want to be able to get these things done with an attorney, but we help you expedite, essentially, like not having to learn from yourself.
Finances and legal stuff is like the glue of your company, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like when it comes to financials, you could be making 100K a month, and some people walk away with like 5K in their pocket, and it's like, what was that for, right? So it's like, how do we maximize this with still maintaining client success to a very high level? We're still maintaining team morale because you want to pay your people very, very well as well. But how do we be smart about the money that is coming in, right? I think that's a financial literacy is a important thing, and I think they forgot to teach us this in school as well, right? Especially when it comes to the business side of things. So we're able to give you that system that you need, kind of like tracking your numbers, maximizing profits, and just kind of like having a good quality business, and then also just like the legal stuff that you said. One small thing, just like I said earlier, your stuff is set up, incorrectly, they can just take your house. Right. So you want to be able to make sure that your business structure is set up properly. Your contracts. I mean, like we can get pretty deep into like how these lawyers and like, the stuff that they can potentially do to businesses. But ultimately it's like protection of, for 1099 contractors, W-2 employees, if you do get to that level, hopefully you do. Right. But we have all the contacts and all the resources, the right ones that you need, because we have some of the best lawyers in America, right? We have people, $900 an hour. We have another guy who's like $1,400 an hour that we pay to consult for us. And he has some of the, he's one of the best, right? He's done stuff in like the government level as well. So, we're able to give you those access to those types of people for a fraction of the cost that it would take for you,
Exactly right. And I think the biggest thing again is just how do you structure it to be able to scale properly. And we've already learned from the 8-figure operations that we've built out for our own companies and from companies that we have been mentored by, and we bring that to you. Again, we'll keep it simple, but it's the same systems that can help you scale to get to a point where it does essentially need to be upgraded, right? Because like I said, we use the same systems to get to 100K per month, and eventually we started looking at softwares. You don't need to overcomplicate it, right? Like this entire thing that we just talked about, once you actually get inside, you'll see it's all very simple. You don't need to like go off and pay for QuickBooks and pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in softwares and all these different things. Like just keep it simple, focus on the revenue generating activities, and then we start looking at scaling. Then you start looking at overcomplicating. But by that time, you're making money. And so then you can hire people, which is the biggest thing. There's only so much that Zarar and I can do as individuals. There's only so many calls that we can take. There's only so many tasks that we can do. And that's where building a team is truly strategic. And that's how you properly grow the business, to be able to then feed back into yourself. Because ultimately what you're doing here is you're trying to build something for yourself for the long term.
And for your family, right?
Exactly.
I think that's very important.
The process that you're going to step into, we obviously go over into it, like the more details in the onboarding call. Like what is all these different pieces? What it is that you need to do versus our team needs to do. But ultimately we sat down and really thought about like, who is it that we're helping? And we're just helping ourselves. We're building out something that we wish that we had, support.
Exactly. We just built this for ourselves. Exactly right. It's like, if we could go back in time, what would we do over again if we had all these lessons? And that's where this comes out. And I think what you mentioned, man, is very important, where it's like, it looks pretty complicated. And to some level, the internals, yes, But we don't make it look like that for our clients because most of our clients are busy 9 to 5 employees. I mean, we have a client, her name's Monica. She's doing like 86K per month. And when she came to us, she didn't even know what a digital marketing agency was. And the beauty about it, I think there's a saying, something like people who are something like the greats or the legends of life are able to take complex things and make it super simple.
Yeah.
And I think to some level we've been able to do that. And of course we can get better. We're not perfect, right? We're human beings. We make mistakes. And just like you said, we revise things. We take, feedback from our clients very, very seriously because we're also still continually building this even better and better for our clients. But I think we've achieved some pretty good numbers from people who were complete beginners in order to get them the success that they wanted to. And it's like life changing. I mean, 20, 30K a month for someone who's only making 4K a month before in their day job is life changing money, right? And now they have the skill set, most importantly, right? So God forbid, if they were to lose their business, well, then they can just launch a new one right away because it's not something that they don't know how to do. So that confidence that translates also in their personal lives, right? In their relationships, in their, in their health. I think that's a big, there's a big value add in that as well that we're able to do for our clients. So yeah, I think and that's the reason why we kind of do this, right? Like there's a certain point where you don't really need the money and it's like more legacy. You want to help people. You want to be able to change their lives. You want to be able to give back to the community. And I think that's the trajectory that we're on for ourselves, huh?
Yeah, ultimately, that's really what we're going for. And we're constantly looking at ways that we can further make this even more personalized and customized to everybody that's watching. Again, when you step into the process, you'll see exactly more details because there's things that we were not even talking about that we're probably missing. Like, for example, the whole reason why we have an agency advisor, which is the person that's working one-on-one with you, is for the same reason that, when you go into a course, or like Zarar said, when you go on YouTube and you read and you watch different things, you have the knowledge, but now it's like, what do I do with that? And it's, again, we could just give you the curriculum and adios, good luck, but we don't do that for that specific reason, because just like we teach you, we don't want to be just like everybody else, like every other, like people that run courses or the coaches. We're not any of that. We're true business owners showing other people how to truly build a business that can give you the same lifestyle that we wanted for ourselves. And we've been able to achieve it to this point, and we've been able to achieve our certain goals up to this point, and now the goals just go even higher, right? Like the true definition for me when it comes to if someone asks you what is the definition of success? For me, it's the constant pursuit of your potential, which is actually never ending. Because if once you get to level 2, well, now you realize, now there's level 3. Oh, now there's a level 4. You always get better and better, right? And again, within the business too, why is it that some businesses are doing $10,000 per month, some are doing $10 million a month? Is because of that level of potential that it would achieve. So that's what ultimately we're building here. And the agency advisor is here to be able to help you. And again, that's why we have those design calls within our process to go over each step that you need to be able to learn and properly implement within your agency. And that's why we have the AI.
Yeah. And it's unlimited one-on-ones. There's no one who does this in the space. And these aren't VAs. These are really high-level people. One of the persons, that we work with, he's worked with HubSpot. He's worked with Russell Brunson, some of the biggest, best companies that exist. Capitalism.com. So many big companies out there. And you literally can get access, unlimited one-on-one support to them, right? And also the community feel. I think that's what really important is when you first start off, all the people around you typically are people who have never been there or done that. And what does that do? Right? If you think about it, what is the worst punishment, Christian, that you can go through in life? Solitary confinement. You go to jail, but then in jail, if you misbehave, solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So solitary confinement is the worst punishment, meaning you're all by yourself. And I think no one talks about this in entrepreneurship. Most people are by themselves. They don't even have a business partner. Sometimes they have a nagging wife or a nagging husband, and the people around them, their parents, all these people, they're like, oh, what are you doing? Are you too good? All these things that you have to deal with. And then you yourself have to defend something that you don't even know is actually even going to work.
Yeah.
Versus you being part of a community, you being part of people who have been there, done that, who do 100K a day. And they're like, yeah, we've been there. We've seen that all. What does that do to your confidence? What does that do to who you are as a human being? Right. And I think that's very important. That's kind of overlooked in culture and society.
Yeah. I think a really good thing is like being able to, for those of you that are watching, like be able to step back and like really think on what entrepreneurship really is, because it's not easy, but there's a reason why people that are successful are very well respected, because it's not easy, right? And that's the thing, is if you're going to step into something like this, which is, you know, it's not like, it's simple. It really is. Running a business, it really is this simple. Like you can get everything that you need from here, but it's not easy because there's going to be ups and downs, right? It sometimes it's difficult, and that's the thing, is we've designed it in a way to be able to give you that support, not only just one-on-one, but then even sometimes, dude, myself and Zarar, we make ourselves available. Now, it's not to everybody, and honestly, like almost nobody does that, which is kind of crazy that we've offered sometimes.
Very
to be able to
rarely
help
will
that.
you see, I mean, people don't even make videos like this. We're
Yeah.
doing this because, and you know what? Even if you don't work with us, no problem. Truly, we want you to get the success that you need just from this video. Like, hopefully you got value, right? If you haven't, please let me know, because I think we're, you know, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of value. But, you know, we just wanted to kind of like wrap this up, and truly from the bottom of our hearts, we made this for people who are kind of confused, who have invested so much money in all these courses and all these programs and all this shit, and they're just like, I hope this is the last one that I have to ever do, right? And I want to give you an opportunity. If you're watching this video, there's going to be a link somewhere down below. Go ahead and book your call down below with my partnership director, and we'll see if this process is a good match for you, right? It's not for everyone. It truly isn't, right? There's a lot of pieces that kind of go into this. There's a lot of effort on our end. We're not here to like sell you like a login and password just like everybody else does, and that's it, call it a day. No, our team is actively involved. Our team is rolling up their sleeves and getting in the trenches with you on this thing. We have a lot more to lose ourselves than you do. So, right? So it's very similar to kind of like a McDonald's like franchise. If you wanted to get a McDonald's franchise, you have to do the interview process. There's like a 2-week long process there. And then it's like, all right, if you're approved, then and only then are you accepted to be a franchisee, right? Very, very similar. Because this process is duplicatable, we're able to duplicate it to a certain level for you. There's a lot of grunt work that literally dozens of people are doing for you. So, you know, what I would like for you to do is book in that call with that partnership director that I have, and he'll be able to kind of see if this is a good match for you. You know, we also have a couple scholarship options that we were talking about. So if we have them available, I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, but right now we do. So go ahead and, you know, see if that works for you or not. And that person will be able to kind of like best guide you to what's best for you. And if for whatever reason, if they're like, hey, it doesn't seem like a good fit, please don't take it personally, right? Because we literally disqualify about 45% of people. Just like I said, there's a lot of effort we'd have to do on our end. But I'd like to open up this opportunity to be able to partner with us and to kind of see if this business model is exactly what you're looking for. And you could be someone who's a beginner completely, who doesn't even know what this business model is about, just like Monica. Or it could be like someone who's doing like, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30K, 100K, or even multiple 6 figures a month. You want to get to like $1 million a month or even beyond that. We can potentially assist with that as well, right? There isn't anything that we cannot help you do, because what we do here is purely customized. It's not cookie cutter. Everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different pathway that they're at, and we basically meet you where you're at. So with that being said, your next steps, super simple. Book your call down below. Make sure you show up with a notepad, show up with a laptop. You know, don't be on your phone. Don't be like one of those people, man, who are just like on their phone and who are not taking it seriously, because we will just cancel the call. We'll just tell you, look, we're not your champion, and respectfully, this is not what we're looking for, right? Because the people that are showing up, they've been there, they've done that, they've made millions and millions of dollars, and, you know, just don't take it lightly, because we're not in that business. You know, we're not here to just, you know, again, give you logins or anything. We're building true businesses. We're building lifelong partnerships here. So book your call down below, and we will see you very soon. Take care.